I think I was reading some sort of Zen parable, you know, those Zen koans and things, Zen stories, which are kind of fun and cute to read. And I was reading this story where, in this story, they were talking about a forest, trees in a forest. And this story said something along the lines of, if a tree identifies with being a tree, and that tree in that forest is cut down, that's the end of that tree. But if the tree identifies with being not a tree, but the entire forest, and one of the trees in the forest is cut down, the forest is immortal and it can never die. And when I read that, that was my first clue as to this being a real possibility. Because I realized at that point that, what if my whole life is just like that tree? What if I'm misidentifying? If I switched my identity from being that of a human, this body, to that of being the entire universe, if I could make that shift in identity, that might be enough to make me immortal. And sure enough, that's the case. Now you might say, oh, Leo, but what if they cut down the whole forest? If you cut down the whole forest, then it's all dead. And so your immortality fails. That's correct, because this is just an analogy. You know, every analogy has its limits. So in this analogy, if you did cut down the whole forest, that would be the end, because you identify with being a forest. A forest is still a finite, limited, formed thing. So for you to truly become immortal, you would have to not identify with being a forest. You'd have to identify with being infinite, with being the entire universe, with being nothing. Now you might say, Leo, but the universe, even if I expanded somehow my identity, magically expanded it to include the entire universe, still, Leo, doesn't science tell us that the universe will collapse at some point, or it'll go into some sort of, heat death, or, even the universe might be destroyed. Maybe it gets sucked into some black hole, and then even the universe is gone. That's right. So this is the difference between a universe with a lowercase u and a universe with a capital uppercase U. So when I say universe, when I say identifying with the whole universe, I'm talking about universe as an absolute with an uppercase U. That's not the universe of science. The universe of science is a finite, limited, relativistic, formed thing which will die. It was born and it will die. So if you identify with our particular scientific universe, you're still going to be mortal. You need to identify with being truly infinite. Infinite. Universe is a totality of everything that's ever possible, including all the multiverses and anything else out there beyond our universe, all of that. You got to identify with absolutely everything. That's the only thing that isn't created or destroyed. The totality, the unity, the oneness. If there's any hint of duality in your identification, then you're going to be mortal, because every duality collapses. So you have to go so meta that you transcend any individual dualities and you identify with the entire movement of reality, of consciousness. This polarization and then depolarization, this division and merging. See, you can't identify with any one particular division. You have to be the whole thing. And that's exactly what you'll become at your death.